Good morning, this is the Paradise Unicorn Priestess bringing you day 187 of A Course in Miracles, the Yin translation, where we use female words. This would be July 6th if you're starting at the new year, and this is the introduction to chapter 22. Take pity on yourself, so long enslaved. Rejoice, whom God hath joined, have come together, and need no longer look on sin apart. No two can look on sin together, for they could never see it in the same place and time. Sin is a strictly individual perception, seen in the other, yet believed by each to be within herself. And each one seems to make a different error, and one the other cannot understand. Sister, it is the same, made by the same, and forgiven for its maker in the same way. The holiness of your relationship forgives you and your sister, undoing the effects of what you both believed and saw, and with their going is the need for sin gone with them. Who has need for sin? Only the lonely and alone, who see their sisters different from themselves. It is this difference, seen but not real, that makes the need for sin, not real but seen, seem justified. And all this would be real if sin were so, for an unholy relationship is based on differences where each one thinks the other has what she has not. They come together, each to complete herself and rob the other. They stay until they think that there is nothing left to steal and then move on. And so they wander through a world of strangers, unlike themselves, living with their bodies perhaps under a common roof that shelters neither, in the same room and yet a world apart. A holy relationship starts from a different premise. Each one has looked within and seen no lack. Accepting her completion, she would extend it by joining with another whole as herself. She sees no difference between these selves, for differences are only of the body. Therefore, she looks on nothing she would take. She defines not her own reality because it is the truth. Just under heaven does she stand, but close enough not to return to earth. For this relationship has heaven's holiness. How far from home can a relationship so like to heaven be? Think what a holy relationship can teach. Here is belief in differences undone. Here is the faith in differences shifted to sameness, and here is sight of differences transformed to vision. Reason now can lead you and your sister to the logical conclusion of your union. It must extend, as you extended when you and she joined. It must reach out beyond itself, as you reached out beyond the body, to let you and your sister be joined. And now the sameness that you saw extends and finally removes all sense of differences, so that the sameness that lies beneath them all becomes apparent. Here is the golden circle where you recognize the child of God, for what is born into a holy relationship can never end. That's really beautiful. Since my holy relationship is sacred to me, I love hearing it described in this way, how the joining of two who fully accept themselves and fully accept the other includes all of creation in that joining. And lesson 187, I bless the world because I bless myself. No one can give unless she has. In fact, giving is proof of having. We have made this point before. What seems to make it hard to credit is not this. No one can doubt that you must first possess what you would give. It is the second phase on which the world and true perception differ. Having had and given, then the world asserts that you have lost what you possessed. The truth maintains that giving will increase what you possess. How is this possible? For it is sure that if you give a finite thing away, your body's eyes will not perceive it yours. Yet we have learned that things but represent the thoughts that make them, and you do not lack for proof that when you give ideas away, you strengthen them in your own mind. Perhaps the form in which the thought seems to appear is changed in giving, yet it must return to her who gives. Nor can the form it takes be less acceptable, it must be more. Ideas must first belong to you before you give them. If you are to save the world, you first accept salvation for yourself. But you will not believe that this is done until you see the miracles it brings to everyone you look upon. Herein is the idea of giving clarified and given meaning. Now you can perceive that by your giving is your store increased. Protect all things you value by the act of giving them away, and you are sure that you will never lose them. What you thought you did not have is thereby proven yours. Yet value not its form, for this will change and grow unrecognizable in time, however much you try to keep it safe. No form endures. It is the thought behind the form of things that lives unchangeable. Give gladly, you can only gain thereby. The thought remains and grows in strength as it is reinforced by giving. Thoughts extend as they are shared, for they cannot be lost. There is no giver and receiver in the sense the world conceives of them. There is a giver who retains, another who will give as well, and both must gain in this exchange, for each will have the thought in form most helpful to her. What she seems to lose is always something she will value less than what will surely be returned to her. Never forget, you give but to yourself. Who understands what giving means must laugh at the idea of sacrifice, nor can she fail to recognize the many forms which sacrifice may take. She laughs as well at pain and loss, at sickness and at grief, at poverty, starvation, and at death. She recognizes sacrifice remains the one idea that stands behind them all, and in her gentle laughter are they healed. Illusion, recognized, must disappear. Accept not suffering, and you remove the thought of suffering. Your blessing lies on everyone who suffers when you choose to see all suffering as what it is. The thought of sacrifice gives rise to all the forms that suffering appears to take, and sacrifice is an idea so mad that sanity dismisses it at once. Never believe that you can sacrifice. There is no place for sacrifice in what has any value. If the thought occurs, its very presence proves that error has arisen and correction must be made. Your blessing will correct it. Given first to you, it is now yours to give as well. No form of sacrifice and suffering can long endure before the face of one who has forgiven and has blessed herself. The lilies that your sister offers you are laid upon your altar, with the ones you offer her beside them. Who could fear to look upon such lovely holiness? The great illusion of the fear of God diminishes to nothingness before the purity that you will look on here. Be not afraid to look. The blessedness you will behold will take away all thought of form and leave instead the perfect gift, forever there, forever to increase, forever yours, forever given away. Now are we one in thought, for fear has gone, and here before the altar to one God, one Mother, one Creator, and one thought, we stand together as one child of God, not separate from her who is our source, not distant from one sister who is part of our one self, whose innocence has joined us all as one. We stand in blessedness and give as we receive. The name of God is on our lips, and as we look within, we see the purity of heaven shine in our reflection of our Mother's love. Now are we blessed, and now we bless the world. What we have looked upon we would extend, for we would see it everywhere. We would behold it shining with the grace of God in everyone. We would not have it be withheld from anything we look upon. And to ensure this holy sight is ours, we offer it to everything we see. For where we see it, it will be returned to us. In form of lilies we can lay upon our altar, making it a home for innocence itself, who dwells in us and offers us her holiness as ours. So all suffering comes from sacrifice. That is an important connection to remember. And if there was anything that ever convinced me that the God of the Old Testament was simply the great big ego that is trying to keep the shards of God trapped in bodies as slaves, it's this concept of sacrifice. I think of all the lists of different kinds of animals that were to be brought to the temple and have their blood spilt for all these different kinds of sacrifices. It must have just been a continual bloodbath. And then the idea of the great and last sacrifice of Jesus dying for the sins of others. All of that is ego fantasy. It just perpetuates the suffering. Instead, abundance everywhere, and everyone receiving more blessedly than they could have imagined. That's the way of the goddess, the true mother of all. That's the God that I want to worship. So, let us bless the world because we bless ourselves, because that's how abundance works. And happy practicing!